Doom has had mixed reviews like no other game before has had mixed reviews.
I don't believe that, but let's get into it.
People love the single player for Doom.
Here it's
Which
good.
is great and everything. You know, it's just kind of like Wolfenstein. You know, their last FPS shooter that was like surprisingly good.
Yep.
Shooter campaign.
Shooter.
First-person shooter. FPS
Okay,
shooter.
that's what they call them. Pew 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 pew. You shoot guns.
That's why you
shoot
say
other
pew pew
things.
instead of just pew.
Yeah, double pew.
Yeah.
And then the multiplayer, not so hot. And you'd be like, oh, that's random. Except it's not.
It's not so random.
It comes down to the developer.
Yeah, so the multiplayer is actually made by Certain Affinity.
Have you heard of them?
The single player is made by...
I feel like you have heard of them.
Yeah, Certain Affinity's name comes up a lot. They've done DLCs for Call of Duty. They've done them for Halo. And most notably, in the wrong sense, they did a big portion of the work on Master Chief Collection.
That was the payoff of the hands.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was correct.
That
reaction.
was not good.
Yeah.
I didn't play it because I don't own an Xbox, but
You would have had a real hard time playing it if you did.
I heard it was impossible to play.
It was for a while.
Like, it was awesome because they put 4 games in one, but it didn't work.
Yeah,
Why
it's
didn't
really
it
awesome
work?
now that it works.
Yeah.
It was just rushed out.
Yeah.
It's rushed out. Need more time. There's a lot of bugs.
And is that part of the issue with Doom's multiplayer?
Not entirely. I hear Doom's multiplayer, it is sound,
Okay.
but it is entirely soulless. So, you know, it is kind of faster than most shooters you're going to see. However, it doesn't have many arena elements. It's like pre-loaded, whatever you call them,
Right.
things. So, you know, you just start a game off with a gun, and that's what you have, and you can't pick up guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is entirely like the antithesis of an arena shooter.
You can't pick up guns? You just
I
walk
think
into
there's a
your
couple
gun?
that you can pick up, but they're like, you know, special power guns. And
So, like,
you
if I
can't
kill
do
an
demon.
enemy, I can't pick up his gun. That's weird. Huh.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully I'm not
interesting.
wrong with that, but I think I remember.
Okay,
reading
but okay. So now my question for you comes into the fact of who should really be to blame here? Should it be the extra developer that they brought on for the multiplayer? Should it be id for allowing this to happen to their game, or should it be Bethesda for really having the oversight of it all?
I think id is probably the least to blame in this situation
And what makes you think that?
because it's probably a Bethesda choice.
Okay.
However, Certain Affinity definitely have some sort of a blame because, you know, when you sign a contract to make a game, then, you know, you're going to be kind of tied to actually making that game for that release date and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it out in time, then, or if you don't get like a satisfactory product in time, then it doesn't matter like how good or bad it is. They need to launch it, and it's probably the case. What happens? It's definitely what happened with Master Chief Collection,
Yeah.
and it seems like that's the case here.
So do you
again.
think that's on the fault of that particular studio? Because now they're starting to develop a history for things like that, or are they just getting themselves in sticky situations?
They're starting to develop a history, but they're also kind of known as like a rush studio. So like they'll make something really quick.
But not
And
necessarily
I think that's
good.
why they're so appealing to so many publishers and stuff, because, you know, they will get your product quickly. And for all like
Yeah.
the Call of Duty and the Halo DLCs, it's been a satisfactory
fine.
product.
Yeah.
You know? There hasn't been really many complaints. However, Master Chief Collection now, Doom having less than satisfactory multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, this reminds me of, do you remember when Deus Ex if you're Greg Miller, came out, Deus Ex 2? And a lot of people really liked the game, except it was like a Mankind Revolution, you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, but the boss fights were crap, and the boss fights were outsourced.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. So the underlying game itself, really good, but the specific part that was outsourced sucks.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I think, you know, part of that really kind of just goes to demonstrate how much like making a game like as a team is about communication.
Yeah.
And if you go to an outsourcer, you are hurting your communication, and, you know, 9 times out of 10 we're going to see a worse product because of it.
And it's probably not going to be as cohesive with regards to the actual gameplay of
Yeah.
whatever else you're working on in-house. You know what I mean? Like, if you give it to someone else, of course they're going to come back with a different picture because they weren't in the same room as you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that kind of makes sense. And you have more experience with that than I do, of like how those decisions are actually made with the developer. And I feel like it's a lot of, yes, this is a good idea because this flows with the product. Whereas you don't really get as much of that, I think, if you're just talking to each other via email. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's just way less conversation that happens. And a lot of the times it's like, so how like Deus Ex was probably developed is, they would make an entire level, they would leave, the boss room just empty. They're like, hey, insert a boss in here.
Yeah.
And then they would ship that off to the outsourcer, and then the outsourcer would do that kind of after the fact. And while it sounds like a perfectly good plan, like on the outside, what ends up happening is like the outsourcer doesn't have enough like creative freedom, and they can't really tie stuff in quite as well as it could if it was actually just being developed alongside with everything else going on. And, there was that communication with.
Yeah. I think the primary issue with that game specifically was that the boss fights didn't act like the way every other fight happens in the game. You know what I mean? Where you have a choice to kind of stealthily take it, or multiple ways to take it down. Whereas the boss fights, it was just standard one way to take this sucker down, which really kind of flies in the face of everything else the game is about.
Yeah. So but how much could the outsourcer do? It's just like, here's this empty room, make a boss fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes it significantly more difficult.
Yeah. So it's really. Probably the publisher is the one to blame, realistically.
Publisher trying to tighten up deadlines, do things more cheaply.
Yeah,
all that
resulting in
stuff.
an inferior product.
Yeah.
But, so now my final thing I'm coming to here. This is really kind of totally the opposite from the other FPS shooters, as you call them, that have been coming out in the past, because we've been getting a lot of ones with, the multiplayer, usually solid.
Yeah. Story,
crap. Whereas this one, great story. Well, I don't know if a good story, but great campaign, I should say. And multiplayer crap. Do you think that's really going to reflect in its sales? Because I feel like at this point, like first-person shooters are all about the multiplayer for a lot of people.
Well, I think that's true for the big series going on. If you're doing something new, and really at this point Doom is new because it's been a very long time since
That's what
Doom.
you want to say. It's like one of the first shooters.
I know.
I mean, I know
like,
you know that more than most, but
At this point, to the public's mind, Doom is new.
Yeah.
Because Doom 3 was so long ago, and Doom 1 and 2 are just completely different. Right? They're just different from how games work now. So, since Doom is like this new thing, they have to sell something new. And I feel like if you're selling something new, you're going to have a way easier time doing that with a campaign, where you can kind of be more innovative, and you have more room to kind of like have your own personality and all that stuff show through the game. Whereas in the multiplayer, you pretty much tied down to doing like stupid level up system and perks and loadouts and all that silly stuff.
All the old rigmarole.
Just to kind of hit all the checkboxes. Otherwise, it's gonna be like, oh, this game doesn't have a level system. I don't want to keep playing it. At least that's what publishers think goes on in players' minds.
Right. So we're gonna say our final summation, and we're gonna say it at the same time, okay?
Yeah.
So we're gonna say both what we think in like unison. So I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna say our final thought, okay? 3, 2, 1. 9/11 was an inside job.